Welcome to another episode of Power Bourbon, and it's our
The
favorite
best episodes.
episodes of Power Bourbon. It's the one where a distillery sent us a free bottle, and we get to say our honest review about it because at the end of the day, while we do very much appreciate getting free stuff, we care about our viewers first, and we're going to tell you our honest opinion. Luckily, so far, everything they've ever sent us is just absolutely amazing. But they've got a really tough hill to beat. Like you keep throwing first place, eventually you're going to get a third place. And that, of course, if you know anything about the channel, is good old Barrell Bourbon here. So this is batch 34. Now, if you've watched, Chuck, what were your opinions on batch 33?
I think we were early touters that was a whiskey of the year candidate, bourbon of the year candidate in 2022. And boy, did it live up to that. So it came in top 5 for us last year. My favorite batch since the 20s, maybe 27, 28. Not that the others were bad, but just 33 was that much better. So batch 34, it felt like it was forever for this to come out.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if that's true or just be after 33, I was just so we were just ready. Anticipation was killing us. Just hoping for another one that could be better or be in the same class as 33. So I'm very excited to taste this.
We were continuing to buy bottles of 33 when we saw them on the shelf.
Yes. Yeah. There's multiple bottles in the bunker.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So 34 is on the front. It is 114.62 proof, and it says 6 years. You all know what that means. It just means the youngest bourbon in there is 6 years. They've got some older stuff in there, everything like that. It's got Tennessee, it's got Kentucky, it's got Indiana. So it's got the three big boys. If I remember right, which, always be prepared. I got 33 right here. And those are the same three states 33 came in, but 33 was 5 years on the label. So who knows?
So a different blend of blends,
Yeah.
or blend of straights.
Yeah. And the great thing about Barrel, they give you all the information you need. They've got more information on their website, everything like that. They're not going to give you all the information because at some point when you're blending blends together, the fact that it's from Kentucky, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know like what the original mash bill is because it's a mash bill blended with another mash bill blended with another, and then those are blended with other. Like it just gets crazy. The only people that know how to handle that are people like Chuck with Excel wizardry. So,
yeah, but it wouldn't fit on a label even if they would tell us. So,
yeah.
So right away on the nose, like I'm getting just a lot of oak, cherry, caramel. Like this is aged Kentucky to me off the nose, which
But
is it's a little bit softer than I think 33 was.
I get a hint of charcoal. So I'm not saying Dickel notes. I'm saying charcoal. So it could be like when you smell Jack Daniels, something like that. I get that Tennessee process in the nose, but definitely not the minerality of like a Dickel nose.
Yeah, that's hidden pretty well. I did pick up initially a little bit of like a charcoal. It's a little bit of smokiness.
Yeah, it's almost like after you camped, you go to sleep for the night, you wake up in the next morning, and you just smell those embers of the fire. But a very good nose, not as powerful as some. It's a little subdued. But man, are there a lot of flavors there.
Yep, definitely. And the science behind neck pours is we can argue that when I first opened this, it was drastically different from what it is today, and I'll firmly say that time and time again. So I would recommend take a sip, then come back to it a couple days later, take another sip, and then let that be your opinion.
Well, and whether it's neck pour or just what you ate for the day, that's why you always need to make sure you try these bourbons multiple times. And like we've seen, if you really don't like something, let it sit for a little while, come back to it on a different day, and it might hit your palate just right that day. So
Yeah, something we don't always agree with Fred, but something that we agree with Fred. Fred Minnick, he says give it 3 tries. So
yeah.
definitely always agree with that.
So on the palate, it is sweet.
That's a lot of very sweet. A lot of cane
Yeah.
sugar.
Mm-hmm. And I'd say some melted caramel, vanilla. I mean, it's almost like angel food cake, to be completely honest, is what I'm kind of getting uh, on the very beginning of the palate when you take a sip. And then it kind of switches over to some nice floral notes that transition you into the finish, which is high proof and spicy.
Definitely, yeah. It leaves you, it lingers on. It doesn't make you wonder about that finish. To me, in the palate, very sweet. Like you said, a little bit of honey. I get a little bit of like a vegetal note. I don't a little bit of a grain or a little bit of a straw, along with that sweetness. And then even a little bit of a citrus as it transitions into the before that spice takes over in the finish.
Yeah. I mean, I would say this might be one of the most complex barrel batches we've had. There are just so many flavors going on. And unlike a lot of things, generally when we have a whole lot of flavors, it's pulling you in all these directions. Somehow they got it to work well together. I'm getting smooth transitions from it. To be honest, it's like a good 10-course meal. Like I'm slowly being transitioned in the views of the chef that I have no idea what that is. But there's no like harsh transition notes. I'm just going from one thing to the next. And it's very, very delicious.
Do you want to compare with 33 here?
Yeah, I'm game for that. I am gonna probably right off the bat just say I don't think it's as good as 33. But I think it's very, very good.
I think the finish on 34 is lasts for days, I think. In a good way. Not like, oh, I smoked a cigar yesterday. I still taste it.
Yeah. Give you guys a little bonus content.
I think that's going to be the question, right? Honestly, yeah. I think I could still get 33 in the store right now. So the question is, if you had the option, maybe we should tidy up the 34 review before we get into the comparison. If you only have one bottle, or I'm sorry, if you already have 33 and you're looking to buy another bottle of bourbon, I'm going to recommend 34. Is it?
Yeah.
We'll tell you here in a moment whether it's as good as 33, but my recommendation would be to buy.
I mean, once again, you're talking probably right around $90 is about where they are anymore. It's always going to be one of those like, should I just get a backup? Because it's one of those, you're never going to see these batches again. It's good. Again, yes, I understand on the label it says 6 years. It's blended other older stuff. So it's not just 6 years. You're showing your education as a bourbon consumer, and it's good. It hits so many flavor profiles. It's just, yeah, it's good. I wish we could at some point give Barrel a bad review, but gosh darn, they just keep pumping out good stuff. And I challenge you to find something that is giving you the bang for your buck. I mean, this is right on point with Elijah Craig barrel proofs for me.
I mean, yeah, I think we talked about this. Maybe I don't remember which we've done a few barrel reviews recently, the Barrel Vantage and the Batch 33 and the the Barrel New Year. During one of those videos, we talked about how barrel used to be a premium price.
Yeah.
But the bourbon market is so different today. So at $80, these batches have become, in some of it's people chasing, you can't find Elijah Craig barrel proof most places. And I know Barrel doesn't distribute everywhere, but where they do distribute, they're much more available. And they just sit on shelves. So to me, this has become in the argument for best value in bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, TJ, we thought batch 33 and some of it's, what we make it, the expectation and how much, we've really enjoyed this batch, and we've spent a few months with it, right? We've revisited this time and time again. I think it's closer than you initially thought. It's closer than I initially thought. I almost give it I almost tip at least the nose to batch 34, to be honest. I'm go back to 34 now, and I'm picking up like a cocoa and a coffee that I wasn't initially. That's quite nice.
I mean, Chuck accuses me of this all the time, just being happy about the next and the greatest thing. But 34 hits my palate better. It is all sweet caramel, viscous, just rolls on the tongue. 33, I remember why I enjoyed it. It's got more of those spices. It reminds me more of like a Four Roses product. Whereas 34 is much more like an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. And that Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is my jam. So at least for me, 34, I think tonight I'm going to say 34 is better than 33.
And gosh dang it, TJ, I give you such a hard time for literally any new bourbon that comes out. It's the greatest thing known to man, greatest thing the bourbon world has ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
The master distiller's gift to all of us. And I razz you about it because I do think you have this recency bias or just bias for new products, and you're excited, and it influences your opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you got to start giving me a hard time, but tonight this 34 is better than batch 33.
Mm-hmm.
I like the cocoa note that I was getting on the nose. It's not that 33 is bad, but I just give it, it's just a touch better. You picked up on the texture differences. It's got this really nice creaminess in the palate. Yeah. Speaking to 34. And I think it just smooths out some of those sharper notes. And maybe some of it's a little bit lack of that floral note, that Four Roses character, maybe that you were picking up in the 33. But to me, 34 just is. And then again, that finish just lasts. So it's still powerful. It's still 114 proof and still drinks like it. Yeah. But really is flavor packed. So I think we have our early submission for best bourbon of 2023.
As always, let us know in the comments below, what is your favorite barrel product? Do you have a barrel product? If you haven't got a barrel product, why not? With 33 out there and 34 out there.
Yeah. Go buy one and then come back and finish it.
Yeah. And I dare you to say in the comments that it's bad, because we will ask your address and we will come find you, because we will want that bottle to take it off your hands and give it to the appropriate people.
Be gladly.
Yeah. But yeah, once again, Barrell, thank you so much for sending us a sample. We need you at some point to send us something tainted so people don't just think we are saying your praises. But you continue to do amazing stuff. You guys got some amazing blenders on your staff and everything like that. And I'll also say this, because I know people are out there like, oh, they're just blending. Anybody can do that. Take your bourbon collection. I dare you to find 4 bottles, blend them together, and find something better than what you started with. It is a lot harder than you realize. And Barrell is knocking it out of the park and changing the way that we view source whiskey and source bourbon. And I appreciate them for that. And with that, we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Stay neat.